Yo, what's up? Hey, everyone. We're back at it on RJ Debate. Two mics, two brains, one headache of a question. So today's big one is, if the universe is totally indifferent to us, is it actually brave to just roll with that and create our own meaning? Or are we kind of fooling ourselves and ignoring some deeper purpose we're meant to seek out?
So, in simpler terms, are we these cool little meaning makers chilling on a cold rock? Or just overthinking apes who cling to everything happens for a reason so we don't totally lose it?
My take, cosmic indifference is real. The universe is not on your side, it's not testing you, it's just there. But for me, that's not a tragedy. That's a green light. No script in the sky means we get to write our own story down here.
And I'm more like, easy there. Sure, physics just does its thing, but humans aren't just brains floating around in math. We live inside stories with purpose. What's the point? Why are we here? Where are we headed? When you strip that away and just throw numbers at people, they don't magically become chill existentialists. A lot of them get lost.
So I'm staring into the void, then plant a garden. You're give the void a name, a myth, and a ritual, huh?
Yeah, kind of like that. All right, let's wade into the chaos.
Let's start with the most movie-like scene, the balcony moment. You're out at night, need some fresh air. You look up, bam, stars. It's beautiful. You're vibing. And then it hits you. Those are nuclear furnaces, light years away, running on equations that have literally never heard of you.
Yeah, that very specific little punch to the chest.
That clash is the whole problem, right? On one side, our everyday sanity runs on this moral story engine. Hustle hard, you see payoff. Be kind, good comes back. Bad times, there's a lesson in there. On the other side, astrophysics and evolution are like cute story. Stars explode when they're out of fuel, viruses mutate because RNA copy-paste badly, and your entire species is a short-lived blip on a very average rock in a very average galaxy.
And that's where the tension lives. On the inside, you're like, this has to mean something. On the outside, it's more like, hey, it doesn't mean anything, in our language anyway.
So here's the thing. That outside picture matters if you care about truth. The universe is mostly about wild, messy, randomly-ish stuff happening with no built-in purpose. Indifference doesn't mean hostile. It means not even in the conversation. Lovecraft was, a lot, but he nailed this bit. What's scary about the universe isn't that it hates us, is that it doesn't notice us.
I'm not saying the physics isn't real. I'm saying we underestimate how deep that inner craving for purpose goes. It's not some cute cultural add-on. It's in the wiring. Our brains really suck at accepting it just happened as an explanation. We were built to survive on the savannah, not calmly calculate probabilities like some chill statistics professor.
Totally. So let's boot up that Hyperactive Agency Detection Device, HAD. You hear rustling in the bushes, maybe it's just wind, maybe it's a predator. If you assume agent and you're wrong, you waste some energy running away. If you assume random, whatever, and you're wrong, you're lunch. So evolution gives us a brain that screams, who's behind this at the slightest noise?
And that reflex didn't just disappear when we became cities. It just got costume. Instead of maybe there's a lion, now it's a demon, a god, a deep state conspiracy, or the universe is testing me. Pick your flavor. HAD just hates the idea that nothing is behind it.
Then add Shermer's patternicity and agency. We're insanely good at spotting patterns and noise. And then we insist on attaching those patterns to a mind. Clown shape, brain, face. Two bad things in a row, brain, someone's got it out for me. Or in the polite version, the universe is sending a sign.
And on top of that, you've got teleology bias. We can't stop asking, for what? Kids will say, mountains exist so people can climb them. Sharp rocks exist so animals don't sip there. Even grown-ups and scientists under pressure slip into the sun gives warmth so that life can grow. Like that's the goal, not just a side effect we benefit from.
From my side, everything happens for a reason is mostly those three biases wearing a nice outfit. HAD, patternicity, teleology, gone wild. It feels deep, It's easy to remember, but that doesn't magically install a grand design behind the scenes.
But even if it starts as bias, it grows into real culture. Myths, rituals, ethics, social rules, those spin around that basic idea. Calling it just bias is like calling language just noise patterns. Technically true, kinda useless.
Fair? Still, if you want to vibe with the universe's actual mood, you have to walk into the scary room. So, quick tour of cosmic horror, but make it science.
Great. Bedtime stories from astrophysics.
First, gamma ray bursts. These things are insane. Huge star collapses into a black hole, or two neutron stars crash. You get a jet of gamma radiation that pumps out more energy in a few seconds than our sun will emit in 10 billion years. No rage, no warning, no moral lesson, just wrong place, wrong time.
Then black holes. These are regions where gravity totally wins. Cross the ever horizon and your body gets stretched into cosmic noodles, spaghettification. The physics we're used to basically taps out, and there's a serious question about whether information is just gone. It's like reality installed industrial shredders that don't care what they're chewing.
And if that's not enough nightmare fuel, we have vacuum decay. Some versions of physics say the Higgs field might be metastable, not at the true lowest energy state. A tiny quantum tunneling event could create a bubble of truer vacuum that expands at the speed of light, rewriting the laws of physics and annihilating ordinary matter as it goes. There's no way to see it coming. One moment you're recording a podcast, the next, no atoms, no problem.
And then there's heat death. Entropy maxes out, usable energy evens out, and complex processes just fade. No dramatic final explosion. The universe just gets too flat and boring for anything interesting to happen.
None of that exactly screams, the universe cares about your character development arc, right? It all fits blind dynamics way better than loving plan.
I'm not going to pretend that list doesn't scream, meh, you're tiny. But real people don't live at that scale. You read about vacuum decay, freak out for like 10 minutes, and then go back to stressing about rent and your WhatsApp chats.
Totally. And that's my whole point. The universe has its story. Our daily narratives have a different one. We get in trouble when we act like they're the same story, just with different vocab.
Let's talk about how modernity cranks that conflict up. Max Weber calls it disenchantment. Back then, forests were full of spirits. Rivers had their own gods. Now, hutan equals cubic meters of timber. Sungai equals kilowatts. The relationship shifts from I thou to I it.
And science joins in. Weird illness becomes a biological dysfunction. Star becomes plasmasphere. Earthquake becomes tectonic stress release. We get prediction and control, but lose that sense that the world is talking to us.
Weber's line is sharp. Science can describe how your loved one dies, cell death, organ failure, whatever. But it stays silent on why them, why now, what do I do with this grief? That silence is what makes people feel like orphans in a smooth-running but fatherless universe.
And I'm like, that's okay. Science isn't your dad or your therapist. It's there to map connections, not hand out inspirational quotes.
Sure. But that silence can hit hard if you strip away all the enchanted worldviews and only give people equations and GDP charts. Don't be shocked when they either spiral into nihilism or grab onto conspiracies and fundamentalism. Reading Dawkins doesn't uninstall the craving for meaning.
So, what do we do with that hunger? One option is nihilism. No cosmic purpose, so nothing matters. I think that's lazy. There are better moves.
Okay, go on. Sell me your favorite move.
Camus. He says the absurd isn't in atoms, it's in the clash between our need for meaning and the world's silence. The universe just is. It doesn't answer why me. That tension is the absurd.
And the verdict?
Drop both physical suicide and philosophical suicide, jumping into comforting but unsupported answers just to feel better. Instead, you acknowledge the absurd and still push back. That's where Sisyphus comes in. He's sentenced to push a rock uphill forever. It always rolls back down. From the outside, it's pointless. From the inside, he owns the struggle. His rock is his thing. Camus says we must imagine Sisyphus happy.
So your hero is a cosmic forklift guy who's like, this is my gym now.
Basically. Then Sartre, no God, no preset essence. Existence precedes essence. You're thrown here first, then you define yourself through choices. That's terrifying, condemned to be free, but it's also freeing. If there's no meaning written in the stars, values are what we do, not what we inherit.
And Frankl, from Inside a Concentration Camp, adds, suffering doesn't come with meaning baked in, but we can assign meaning. Instead of this horror happened so that, it becomes, since this horror happened, what am I going to do with it? Logotherapy is like existentialism with a therapist. Help people find their unique why so they can handle their how.
Then there's the secular awe team. Sagan's Pale Blue Dot, Dawkins Unweaving the Rainbow. Realizing Earth is a tiny pale blue pixel doesn't have to crush you. It can wake up responsibility. No one is coming to rescue this dot, so we look after each other. Understanding rainbow physics doesn't kill beauty, it deepens it. That's my pitch. Drop the grand cosmic purpose and focus on local meaning. Turn the universe's indifference into a neutral backdrop for very non-neutral kindness.
I'm into that, actually. But I think you're underestimating two things. How deep teleology runs for a lot of people, and how rich cultural teleologies are, especially outside the modern Western bubble.
All right, go there.
Take Javanese cosmology. You've got Jagat Cilik, the small world, the self, and Jagat Gede, the big world, the cosmos. The goal isn't domination, it's harmony. Memayu Hayuning Bawana, beautifying the beauty of the world. Disasters and plagues aren't just random anomalies. They're read as signs of disharmony, invitations to ethical and ritual repair.
Which is cool symbolically, but it's not exactly seismology.
Totally. Tectonique, tetap, tectonique. But this frame gives people moral agency, not just technical agency. You're not just a victim of random stress on the crust, you're also a participant in restoring balance through how you act. Then there's Sangkan Paraning Dumadi. Life is a journey from and back to the divine. Birth, work, struggle, death, stations on the route home. Events become expressions of Hyangwiti's will, pieces of a pattern you can't fully map. If you're formed by that story, indifferent cosmos just doesn't compute. The world is saturated with purpose, even if it's opaque.
That's exactly where I start getting twitchy. If everything happens for a reason, it's very easy to excuse injustice or tell victims their pain is just part of some plan.
Totally. With you on the dark side. But look at how Nusantara traditions also hack cosmic indifference. Rice becomes Devi Shri, Mother Rice. Pests aren't just biomass, they can be read as signs she's upset. Or visiting. Rituals like Wiwitan and offerings personalize nature. You're in relationship, not just extraction. You don't wreck your mother's house, at least ideally.
Okay, and Slametan?
Slametan is a shared meal plus prayers for Slamet. Safety, peace, nothing bad, please. It doesn't alter virology, but it turns random anxiety into structured togetherness. Tolak Bala, rituals to ward off misfortune, don't stop tsunamis, but they give people a sense of agency and solidarity. It's culture patching that HAAD. Like, if your brain insists someone's behind this, fine, we'll talk to that someone together.
So these teleological frameworks aren't just fantasies. They're tools to manage existential dread.
Exactly. You can call them constructed, but they have very real effects on behavior, community, ecology. Meaning systems are part of reality, not just stickers on top.
I get that they're real as practices. I just worry when people confuse their local myth for universal truth. If you grow up with Sangkan Paraning Dumadi, randomness is almost illegal. Everything must be karmic or kwalat. That can flip into victim blaming and magical thinking fast.
For sure. But your side has its own risk. It's all just atoms and heat death anyway, can slide into chill nihilism. Like, why care? Why be good? The table of responses to cosmic silence absolutely includes that kind of shrug.
Which is why I keep coming back to Camus instead of shrug. See the emptiness of cosmic meaning and still choose creativity, values, and a bit of rebellion.
This is where I think some Indonesian thinkers make nice bridges. Carlina Supelli, for example, she deeply understands black holes and singularities, but she reminds us we're the ones who give names to the stars. Cosmos for her isn't just vacuum in equations, it's also the Lebenswelt, the lived world of language, symbols, daily life. You can hold scientific clarity and respect traditional worldviews without smashing one into the other.
So, many stories, one planet?
Exactly. Gunawan Muhammad, meanwhile, is suspicious of any grand narrative that claims to have the final answer, whether it's rigid religion, hardline scientism, or ideology. He loves what's fragmented, unfinished. That's a softer cousin of your absurdism. Accept some questions don't close. Keep writing in the margins.
I vibe with that. I'm not hunting for the one final story. I want honest knowledge plus humility. So, real life example, earthquake. From my side, plates move, stress builds, rocks slip, energy releases. If you're near the fault, sorry, that's bad luck. We grieve, we rebuild, we upgrade building codes. That's the explanation.
In a Javanese frame, the same quake can be read as a sign of imbalance. Maybe we've neglected obligations, ethics, rituals, care for the land. So the response is grief, plus rebuilding, plus moral and spiritual reflection. The quake becomes part of an ethical conversation, not just an engineering problem.
But that moral conversation can easily end up scapegoating some minority or blaming victims. Teleology is volatile.
For sure, history receipts are thick. But it just happened can feel brutal too. People still look for culprits. They just swap angry gods for corrupt politicians, developers, the system. We're still storytelling animals. The question is whether we can tell stories that are scientifically honest and compassionate.
So maybe the sweet spot is the quake wasn't sent to teach us a lesson, but we can still use it as a moral turning point. Not this happened so that, but now that this happened, what do we change? That's very Frankl, meaning from our response, not from tectonics.
Exactly. Keep purpose on our side of the equation, not projected onto rocks. Okay, let's zoom back into daily life because it's easy to get lost in gamma rays and myths.
Totally. Most people don't wrestle with purpose on a mountaintop. They wrestle over coffee.
There's this idea of the secular sublime. You can feel awe, even a sort of spiritual charge, in front of an indifferent universe without adding a cosmic parent figure. Sagan's pale blue dot is a classic. That tiny pixel of Earth leads him not to fate, but to kindness and responsibility.
And that lines up with mindfulness stuff. Thich Nhat Hanh talks about washing the dishes to wash the dishes. Meaning doesn't drop from above. It comes from how present you are even in simple acts. The universe doesn't care about your sink, but you can.
And Csikszentmihalyi's flow, when your skills and the challenge match and you're fully absorbed, the big "what's the meaning of life?" question just goes quiet. You're too busy living. That's not cosmic purpose. It's local meaning, and it works.
So even I, the embrace indifference guy, am not sitting in a room having a staring contest with the void all day. I find value in projects, relationships, creative work. Cosmic indifference is just the background. No guaranteed script, no ultimate judge, which actually makes what we do more fragile and, in a way, more precious.
And I, the don't murder teleology guy, am not sitting around waiting for the Andromeda Galaxy to DM me. I'm talking about stories, traditions, worldviews that help people stand up straight in a universe that doesn't care. They're support beams, not scientific theories.
All right, closing time. Give me your nutshell version.
So, yeah, physics paints a pretty harsh picture. Gamma ray bursts, black holes, vacuum decay, heat death, no intentions, no justice, no script. At the same time, it's totally natural that humans ask, what for and why? HADD, patternicity, teleology bias are baked in. Left alone with raw randomness, we get weird. So, cultures build purpose-saturated worlds. Egyptian dreams as messages from gods. Javanese Jagad Chilik, Jagad Gede, Devi Shri, Slamatan, Sanghan Parani Dumadi. These don't just soothe people, they shape ethics, farming, solidarity. We can't unknow what science has shown, no going back to a literal enchanted cosmos. But we also shouldn't roll our eyes at every big story and call it just illusion. Those stories are real forces. They move how people love, protest, plant rice, and rebuild after quakes. So for me, the universe doesn't need to have our back for purpose to be real. Our craving for purpose isn't something to delete. It's something to educate, to negotiate with science, to keep flexible and kind. We don't have to choose between a lying, warm universe and a cold, honest one. We can face the cold and still keep each other warm.
Nice. My nutshell, start back on that balcony. You look up and realize those stars aren't winking at you. They're nuclear engines. They don't care about your crush, your exams, your prayer list. The cosmos would run exactly the same if humans disappeared tomorrow. That's raw cosmic indifference. Evolution tuned us to hate that idea. HADD, pattern love, teleology bias make us overread patterns and intentions. But seeing those biases doesn't turn us into robots. It just gives us freedom not to believe every sign we feel. When you stop expecting a script, it's scary, but also a promotion. No built-in meaning, but you get author credits. That's where Camus' Sisyphus, Sartre's radical freedom, Frankl's meaning and suffering, Buddhist emptiness, and secular awe all shake hands. They all say, in different accents, the universe won't hand you a reason. You plant reasons in the garden of your life. I respect local cosmologies and rituals, Javanese harmony, Devi Shri, Slamatan, but not because I think they move tectonic plates, but because they show how creative we are at warming up a cold background. For me, that's the frame. The canvas is cold, so the colors we paint, our care, our projects, our jokes, our stubborn decency matter more, not less. The universe doesn't care. Your life doesn't have to match that. Meaning isn't discovered like a hidden script. It's made in who you love, what you build, and how you carry yourself when everything is clearly not guaranteed.
So you land here. You want us to stare into the void, then start gardening. I want to bring in stories and rituals so the garden doesn't feel like we're planting lettuce on a dead rock.
I can live with that.
Same.
That's RJ Debate. If something here poked your brain in a good way, hit like, subscribe, all the usual rituals.
And tell us in the comments, are you more on team indifferent cosmos, self-made meaning, or team cold physics plus thick stories? Either way, we're all stuck on the same pale blue dot trying to make it feel like home.